Recording now. I think it says recording.
Yes. Okay.
Yay. Okay, hi guys. Thank you so much for coming tonight. This is so fun. So I'm going to start with just talking about social media because our jobs pretty much involve social media all the time to the point where my husband gets annoyed at me, but that's okay. It's a business, so I just tell him that. But we had some questions on social media. I know Megan and I both posted in our team pages, like asking you guys for questions. And so I'm just going to start out with like social media 101. So basically like, what do we post on social media? So I started out saying like, post according to your brands, like figure out what your brands are, like 4, 5, 6 brands, maybe I would say like 4 to 6 brands, and then post according to those brands, like always. So like, for example, today, I'm a wife. I live in Nashville. So like Music City is kind of like one of our brands. Like he's a musician. I'm into music. Health and fitness is one of my brands. Yogi, because I'm a yoga teacher, is one of my brands. Coffee, because I work as a barista. So like those are all like my big brands, like Bohemian. I love like color and decorations like that, like Mexican blankets. So I'm always like trying to post on social media like according to those specific brands. And then like when you're starting out as a coach and you don't know what to post, like that is just the perfect place. Like it gives you something, like something to talk about, some reason to post. Like tonight we just bought an RV, my husband and I, so I posted about that because it's kind of like along the lines of like being married and like bohemian lifestyle, traveling. So yeah, always start with your brands and always be consistent in those brands because people who watch you like will see those consistencies and it brings people like back again because they're like, ooh, I want to see like where the story goes. And then secondly, hashtags on pictures is really important. So a lot of people will post and like they'll just like put a picture out there, but they won't add a hashtag or anything like that. And what a hashtag does is it connects your picture based on this hashtag to all the other pictures like connected to this hashtag. So if I put on there like tiny home and it says 500,000 posts attached to this tag, then every time I post a picture with tiny home, it'll like attach my picture to 500,000 other like people in that little tag. So it's like, why not use hashtags if you can reach like 500,000 people? But there is like a catch. You don't want to post with a hashtag that has, I would say, like more than 500,000 attached posts to it, just because if your post isn't really like the best of the best, it's not going to show up. Like people are going to scroll past it. They're going to look at like the best of that like photo with those tags. So like for me right now, I usually post like attached to like 50,000 to 500,000 is like where I like cut off the gap. So when you're using these hashtags, make sure you're not just like throwing love up there, like hashtag peace. Like you want to like search out your hashtags beforehand and it might take you like 30 minutes. Like, but once you do it once and you find like a set of hashtags that attend to like your brand and who you are, you can, like I put mine in my notes section of my phone and then I attach those to each post, depending on the type of post. Like tonight I posted about this RV and I use like married hashtags and husband hashtags, Nashville hashtags, and then what was the last one? Tiny home hashtags. So, and then the like algorithm has changed recently. So I know like some people are still commenting like 30 hashtags after their picture, but I just started doing where you post like 10, like 8 to 10 hashtags in the, or like in your caption of your photo. So I'm posting like the caption of the photo and then like ... and then like those 8 to 10 hashtags. But I would encourage you guys to like experiment with that because I don't think there's like a right or wrong way right now, because for the last like 2 weeks, my page has been saying like it's not getting, or I'm like losing whatever it's called, like new insights or whatever. Whereas like 2 weeks ago before I started changing it up, I wasn't losing new like faces. So always just be willing to like try new things and yeah, see what works. Try it, see if it works. Like if it does work, then keep doing it. If not, change it up. And yeah, it's kind of like what we have to do constantly with social media because it's always changing. And then another thing I was going to say with like searching and seeking out those hashtags, like again, you want to make sure that it's a hashtag that doesn't have too many attached posts to it and is like similar to your brand. And then again, I think somebody asked maybe in Megan's team how to like get your name out there when you're a new like person on social media, or you're posting newly to the world of social media. So one thing you can do with hashtags, I just talked about this with Becca today because we had a one-on-one. But for like 15 minutes, I'll like set up a little timer, like 10 minutes, and I'll search out like a hashtag that is kind of like according to my brand. So like kombucha, I love kombucha. So I search booch or like kombucha, and I'll find like just tons and tons of people who have posted pictures according to that. And like sometimes you can find people like your type of person when doing that, and then you can like on their photos. I usually take a screenshot of their profile, and then I'll like on 3 or 4 of their photos, comment on them, just being like nice, not just like nice, but saying like, oh, I love this, or like, that's awesome, do you like have a question or whatever. So just like creating lots of engagement. And then again, like I'll do that for like 10 to 15 minutes, and it gets your name out there. You're almost like working as an algorithm, because like what an Instagram or social media algorithm would normally do is take your posts and like go out there and like for you, and pretty much do that. So you're just getting your name out there. You're bringing new faces back to your page by doing that. And obviously it's like you're doing it genuinely because you're searching out hashtags that you like. So these are people that you're probably going to resonate with. Obviously don't just like go like random pictures of people you don't even like resonate with, because then they're going to come back to you and you're like, I don't even like know you. This is weird. And then the next thing I want to say was just quality over quantity. So this is kind of a newer thing to social media. It used to be like just posting all the time, posting consistently. But like there have been days in the past month where I try to post 3 times a day, and like I'm just like crazy busy or stressed out or something, and I have 2 really, really, really good posts for the day. Like I'm sharing content of like my life according to my brands, sharing maybe like an invite to coaching or an invite to my next challenge group. And so I will like bank on those 2 posts over like maybe creating a 3rd post, but it's like going to end up shitty. Like it's in the dark. It's not really good quality. I don't have anything on my brain to come up with. So always go quality over quantity. Obviously, like you still need to be posting every day. Like don't make it like an all or nothing thing. Definitely like make sure you're posting at least once a day, because like if you're not posting, people aren't going to see your stuff, so they're not even going to know you exist or know that you're doing anything. So you have to like do that to get your name out there. And then with the quality over quantity, the biggest things are like showing you and your face, because remember like your page or your Instagram or whatever social media platform you're using it's like your reality TV show. As weird as that sounds, like I remember Carly saying that when I first started out, and I was like, what the heck? Like, I don't want to have my own reality TV show. But the thing is like your followers and like getting people involved in your challenge groups and like in a healthier lifestyle, like requires you to kind of like do that, because you're doing something really cool. You're living a healthier lifestyle. And for other people to be able to join and be a part of that, like they have to know that's what you're doing. They have to know about your life. And so like we want to share that part of our life, the health and fitness, but you also want to share like all the other parts of you too. So show your face, show you, make the pictures bright, and then make them according to like your theme kind of. So my like personal page, I kind of have a theme of like really bright colors, and I like use a lot of saturation just because I love like eye-catching photos. So if your like whole entire Instagram feed is like black and white, like make your photo black and white, like whatever. Don't just make it colorful, because like that's what I do. And I know like some people, like Amy Silverman kind of has like a cool, like she has like cool tones on her photos, and I love that because they all kind of like go in line with one another. So scrolling through it's like really aesthetically like pleasing. So definitely like try to make your photos kind of all according to your own theme. And like maybe you don't even have a theme and you're like, well, I just throw up like a photo every time. I would say like just put a little bit of intention into it. And if you use kind of like the same format of what's it called? Like editing your photos. If you use kind of like the same format every single time, like I edit all my photos like all the exact same, so that's why they look the same. So that can help you if you're trying to like come up with that theme and like make everything really pretty and like similarly looking. And then again, I feel like a lot of people always ask like, what do I post? So I said, post you, your life, your brands, go back to your brands. And again, like social media is a sneak peek into your life. So imagine it as like your personal journal, your personal reality television show, and then use your story. Like use like things that happened to you in life, your past, your background, your childhood. You know, when I was little, I broke my arm and blah, 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 blah. Like tell a story, like always be telling stories. The biggest, like, I feel like influencers on social media are the people that tell stories because it's engaging, it's like entertaining, but it's also like where they'll leave you at the end of the story and ask you a question about your life and how that relates to you. So curiosity marketing is huge right now. So definitely be posting like with a lot of questions in your posts and your stories, and just, yeah, like if you're sharing a product that you like to use, be like, what's your favorite product that you like to use? So yeah, that's pretty much a little bit. I'm going to read through the questions here and see. The new algorithm, has anyone been trying new recommendations with hashtags? Becca, you said this? So, huh?
You kind of answered it with the hashtags.
Okay.
Like the 8 to 10.
And again, it's just like something you have to try with the hashtags because I feel like I don't know what's going on. I'm just like throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping it sticks. I just tried the new recommendations. I don't know if it takes a while to build up, but I did not get as much engagement. So I think it definitely takes a while to build up. Like I noticed for me the past 2 weeks, like I've been getting a lot less like new faces to my page, but I'm getting a lot more engagement. So it's like weird. I would say just keep trying and like find what works for you. Like don't be afraid to do something different than what everyone else is doing. And then if you like come to something that like worked really well, try to recreate that. Like I'll have random posts. I'm like, what the heck? Like that was awesome. Like that did so well. So I'll try to recreate it. I heard if you use the same hashtags, you could get marked as spam. You mean like double the hashtags? If you use same ones for every post. Oh, I don't know. I don't use the same ones for every post. I have like sections in my notes. I have like marriage hashtags, food hashtags, like fitness hashtags, like all different ones. So I always like mix and match them according to what I'm posting. So yeah, it might be true, might not be. I would say always try to mix them up. Like try to add new ones because the more you change and the more you add like new hashtags, the more you're gonna put your face out there on like new platforms and new spaces. And then Megan said, how do you decide what to post on your feed as opposed to your stories? So I noticed something other coaches were doing that like, so let's say you post your transformation pictures all the time and that's like what works for a lot of coaches, but it's not working for you for some reason. Well, maybe your brand and like your following isn't really engaged in your transformation like pictures. So I would say those photos that you really want to share, like transformations, like that's a huge part of like what we do as coaches. But like for me lately, I haven't been getting a lot of engagement in them. So I tried sharing my transformation photos on my story. So I would say like share the photos maybe that aren't getting as much engagement or aren't doing as well on your like main platform on your story. And then definitely share like videos on your story. Like I would say this Instagram story is more the place for like the real and the raw. You can also like put up like crafted posts. Like I put up like my edited transformation post on there and it's kind of like an experiment right now. I'm just trying to see like what happens with it. So I would say mix and match like with your stories, but definitely always go like more real and raw if possible, taking like selfie videos and like talking about your day or talking about your dinner or whatever. That's how I decide. Like I kind of put a lot more intention into my Instagram posts, whereas my stories are always like totally random and I'm like, hey, I'm cooking dinner right now. Like this is what we've got going for dinner. Oh, thank you, Chrissy. You're so sweet. Yes, VSCO. I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's a great editing app to use. I love it so much. Planoly has layout and plan posts. That's awesome. Didn't even know that. Do I use a specific app for taking multiple self-timed photos? So I actually have an Apple Watch, and what's really cool about this is I have a tripod too, so I put my phone in my little tripod, and then I can like open up my camera on my Apple Watch and like look and see if I'm like in the shot, and then I can click like 3 seconds on my Apple Watch, and then it'll take like a 3-second timer. And so that's how I like get all the photos of me pretty much. It's amazing. Like use your Apple Watch for that. It's so nice. And then also 10-second timers are like lifesavers. Like I'll put my phone up in the little tripod and then I'll like run away and like just do like 30 of those. It takes like 5 minutes because the 10-second ones are like boom, boom, boom. And then I'll just go through them later. What else? I think that's all, right? Am I missing anything? Yeah, I think that's all. Megan, if you want to take over.
Alrighty. Thank you, Leanna, for sharing all of those. I learned so much. I love, love, love your page. You are the social media queen. So I'm going to change gears a little bit here, and I'm going to talk specifically on, talking to people. How do you get them from your Instagram DMs to email to the Challenger interview and ultimately to joining our challenge group or our team? And then about time management. That is something that I am always looking for more advice on. I'm going to share with you guys what I have found that works for me. Leanna was talking great about, how to start growing your following. People will, start seeing your posts and everything. And that's when you start those conversations. You get your reach outs done. You'll send, your hey girls, your hey, thanks for following my page. I appreciate the support. People like you really encourage me to show up every day. And then you ask them some sort of question to get that conversation going. Are you into health and fitness too? Are you a virtual health coach as well? Some sort of question to get that conversation going. And then you start having this nice little organic conversation. And as that grows into what they're doing, what you're doing, somehow at some point you'll find something they're struggling with. And that's when we offer that invitation. Oh, by the way, as a virtual health coach, I run these monthly accountability groups. In them, women support each other. We complete a workout program from start to finish, eat healthy, stay accountable. Would you be interested in learning more? That's the question that allows you to transfer those conversations from Instagram to email. Because typically what I do after I invite to either the challenge group opportunity or the coaching opportunity, ask a question that's, would you be interested in learning about them? Not, hey, do you want to join? Hey, we start next week. Do you want to sign up? But just, do you want to learn more about it? That way you're not necessarily word vomiting on them and giving them all the information at once. Something I would highly recommend if you have not already done so is make a YouTube video of yourself explaining in detail what the challenge groups are, what a challenge pack is, and then send them that link. So I have the video saved in my Google Streak. And when somebody says, yeah, I'd love to learn more about them, I'll say, okay, what's your email address? I'll send you more information. And I send them that video because then you're not typing out the same thing over and over and over again, or if you have Streak, sending like a chunk of text, but it's a video they can watch. In the video, they get to know you, they hear you speak, they learn your personality. You can only convey so much across in text. And so having that video creates that genuine conversation. And they'll get to know you. They'll see that you're actually truly a real person, and what you do is real, and everything you talk about on your page is connected to a real life human being, and that builds that genuine connection. Same thing with coaching. Now, I would also suggest making a short little video where you talk about what coaching is and how the coaching opportunity and becoming a coach has helped you in so many ways that you maybe didn't know about before, how it's kept you accountable in your own personal journey. So having those two videos, so that way when you do invite to this opportunity, when you do invite to learning more about challenge groups or learning more about coaching, you have those videos you can send out to them. And then I connect them in my Google Streak. And at that point, I go through the challenger interview. I know Leanna, I think, said has it in her team page. I know it's in my team page under the file section. That challenger interview, it is like so important to having somebody actually commit to making these changes. Before I started doing that, it's like one or two emails, then I'd send them the link to sign up, and they weren't really deeply rooted in why they wanted to do it. They hadn't, spent time to digest what they really wanted from it and everything. And so I had a lot of people who were doing the interview. And after implementing this and, going back and forth with a few emails, you learn, why they really want to do this. You really connect with their goals and can truly, honestly offer a solution to what they're struggling with and what they want to accomplish. And you get them to say they are 100% in. They're 100% ready to join. So at that point, I would sign them up for the group when they get through that challenger interview. Script is so important to getting people to acknowledge themselves why they want to make that change, why they first reached out to you, and why they would actually want to commit to this program. That's what I had for conversations, really just talking about going from Instagram to email is just the phrasing of the question, and it takes time. It takes a while for them to share that they are struggling with something, or it takes a while for them to actually want to, take advice from somebody they don't know before. So that's, I lost my train of thought. What I wanted to hit on for conversation most, I don't know what time it is, but we don't have too much time, so I'm going to kind of speak quickly. And if you guys have questions, post them in the chat. If during a conversation you're getting in the vibe, the person really isn't into it, do you end the convo? I wouldn't push. I would, I've had a lot of people say, okay, good luck with your program. So I wouldn't push it. I would maybe ask another question just so it's just not that the only reason I'm talking to you is for this. I would say, okay, like, what do you have going on this weekend? And just ask another question with the conversation to keep that open line of communication. But I definitely don't push it at all. They will come back to you months later after like seeing that you're still consistently showing up every day and you're getting these killer results. Okay, 15 minutes. So, oh, we're good. Oh, slow down a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I tend to speak fast. So I definitely wouldn't push it. People, if they don't want to join you, nothing you can say or do will really change that if they're really adamant about not joining you right now. But they will come back to you in time. They will say, hey, this girl's been showing up for a year now and she's getting these killer results. I've struggled for the past year. I'm going to go talk to her now. They will come back because what we have to offer is so incredible, and it will work for anybody and everybody when they're ready to commit to it. And if they're not ready to commit to it, or if they're really, really not having it, move on to the people who are. Put your time in the people who, want your help and want to grow with you. So then I'm going to switch gears real quick on to time management. This is something that I've learned a lot about when I'm in my coaching seasons for sports. Those times, so starting March 1st, I'm personally in school from 7:15 in the morning until, 7 o'clock at night. And so finding those little pockets of time to work this business is crucial for continuing to keep it growing. Consistency is so important in this business. I learned that the hard way last summer, that when you go quiet and you don't show up in this business, you're like going back to square one. It's, the compound effect, just Slight Edge or GoPro, those books you've been reading, it builds on itself. And as soon as one day you don't show up, you're back at day one. You're back at zero. You're back at where you started. And so first piece of advice I have is prioritize what will grow your business. Prioritize those business growing activities. So prioritize your reach outs. If you have a really, really small amount of time. So for example, maybe you have 30 minutes in the morning when you're drinking your Energize and letting your pre-workout meal digest. Send some reach outs. the emails for the people who are in your challenger interview. Those are the things that will grow your business. So do those things, and your personal development. Do not skip on that. If that means you don't read a book for a month and you listen to it on Audible as you drive to work, like that's personal development. Just make sure you go back on the weekends and find those clips that you've saved and actually take those little tidbits out of it. Set a timer and work. So put your blinders on for 10 minutes, set a timer and say, okay, I'm going to go do my reach outs for these 10 minutes. And when 10 minutes is up, if I didn't get to them, I'll get to them tomorrow. So that's where that consistency comes into play. So there'll be days where I literally spend 10 minutes doing reach outs, 10 minutes doing follow-ups on my Instagram, and my inbox doesn't go to zero. And I've learned that has to be okay. Kind of, builds a little bit of anxiety at first. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't get back to this person. I didn't get back to this person. You'll get back to them tomorrow. So 10 minutes of reach outs, and then I go back to the farthest unread message down, set a timer, 10 minutes to those messages, and then I move on. Later in the day, when I have a little pocket of time, maybe during lunch or between the end of the school day and when practice starts, I'll do another 10, 15 minutes of just replying to those messages. And I'll set a timer, 10 minutes of replying to the emails in the challenger interview people. So when that timer goes off, working against the clock, you are so much more productive. And it sounds crazy, and I don't know why it works. But if you're like, okay, I only got 3 minutes and I got to send 3 more emails, you'll get it done. You'll find a way. Second piece of advice is distractions. So putting up those blinders, stop spending time scrolling through your Instagram, scrolling through stories. Unfollow people. Take 10, 15 minutes tonight. Go to your Instagram, go to people that you're following and unfollow like 50 of them because they're just distractions and they will show up on your feed. Who knows when or why or how. Okay, we got 10 minutes. We're good. And it's going to distract you from building your business. It's going to distract you from spending time, reaching out to people. And it's just going to be a distraction. So get them off of your page. If they're not adding value to you or if they're not somebody you're personally invested in, stop following them. Second thing I want to talk about, or third thing, is power pockets. So this kind of goes hand in hand with my fourth item. So I'm actually going to swap them on you guys. If you have a crazy busy work week, I promise you there is a lot more time than you think there is during your days. So my suggestion, what I do when I'm in season, is I sit down on Sunday, either morning, evening at some point, and I have a weekly planner that's literally broken down from 5 a.m. until 9 p.m. And I plan my day to the half hour, and I find those pockets of time. I schedule my reach outs. I schedule my workouts. I schedule my team calls, and I find that time. So I highly recommend getting one of those planners. If you find that you just can't, if you find yourself saying, I don't have the time, I can't find the time, I don't have the time, I promise you it's there. We just need to figure out when it is, and it might not be one solid hour chunk of time. It might be 30 minutes in the morning. It might be 10 minutes on your lunch break. It might be 10 minutes, before you leave work to go home or something. It might be, if you have a little bit of downtime at work, you might find a few minutes there. So it's those power pockets. You're waiting in line at Starbucks to pick up your coffee. You can reply to some Instagram messages. You're cooking your dinner or something, you can reply to a few emails or you can send some reach outs. So that time is there. So I definitely suggest getting some sort of planner of this sort and sticking to it. So you look at your day and you're like, okay, I need to leave for work at 7 in the morning, get up at 5:30, and you've got an hour and a half right there. If that's not your thing, you can find that time throughout your day at other points. So those power pockets were kind of my last little piece of advice as for time management. Do you guys have any questions? Let me look at the... Yes, Leanna, we cannot bank on one person. Up your numbers. Yes, that's something big to think about. If you are like, man, I've been talking to all these people, but nobody seems to be committing, talk to more people. There are so many people out there that need our help, whether they know it or not. There are so many people out there struggling with this journey, with their fitness, with their health and mental wellness, and we have such an incredible solution for them. These communities are so amazing, as we know, and it's our job to share it with them. Yeah. You guys have any other questions for either Leanna or I? I'm doing reach outs and seeking new brands. When doing reach outs, other than sticking to your brand to find like-minded people, are there other things you look out for? I wouldn't say like anything specific. What I'll do sometimes when I'm doing reach outs or I'm trying to connect, grow my connections, is I'll go to some brand and I'll just find people who are following a brand similar to what I like. And typically it's just those that have a public page where I can go through some of their posts. I'll like 5 to 6 of them. I'll comment on 2 to 3 of them, and I'll follow them. And then when they follow me back, that's when I'll screenshot their page. And when I do my reach outs later, I'll have that screenshot and I'll say, hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate your support and all that. Lana, do you want to add anything to that?
I think that's good. I just look for like-minded things, like things that'll connect us, things we have in common. And yeah, I also plan my posts in my notes. Like I don't use an app, but I should. I feel like that'd be easy. But I also just like write up, like if I have a transformation post I want to do on Sunday night, and then like throughout the week I get an idea for it or something comes, or even like if I get an idea for anything, like any kind of post, I'll just go to my notes and like write a little write up for it. And then I'll be like, I have like, I think it's called like social media or like posts or backup posts. So then if I am like having a struggle one night, I can like use that post.
Yep, I do the same thing. Sometimes I'll find myself driving and I'll think of something, so I'll open the notes app and go to like my voice recording, and it's hilarious trying to decipher what I actually said later on because the voice never picks up what I actually said.
Like what?
Oh yeah, that sounds super cool. Should look into that.
That's so
get
cool.
an Apple Watch.
Yes, get one.
I always wondered how you did those. I always wondered how you did those, where it's like 3 pictures. You can tell her back to back to back, and it's like, what are you doing? I can't figure it out.
And just like if you don't have an Apple Watch, just use the like what's it called? The timer. Like have you ever used the timer button up top? It's like that little guy, and then you just click the 10 seconds. Like you could just do it now and like take selfies right in a row and then do something like while the picture is taking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of more questions too, but I can't. Brain is dead.
Let me see.
I think we have like 2 minutes left.
No.
Question?
How much is them reaching out to you and you reaching out to them? It's like all me reaching out to them. I would maybe say like 95% me reaching out to them, 5% people like replying to my story, or sometimes they'll comment. It's been quiet, really quiet lately. So it's a lot more time spent reaching out.
Yeah, same for me. Like, even though I have a form and like I have 200 people that have filled that out, like the amount of people that have actually committed after filling that form out is ridiculously low. Like, I use the form mainly as like a way to connect myself to people so that when there's a good time to reach out to like a mass amount of people, then I can do that. Like, I can send this mass email and be like, hey, everybody, like it's been a while since we chatted. You want to join my group?
I'm gonna definitely agree with that, Leanna. In the past, like I would say up until maybe last October, the link in the bio was like really, really active. But when everything changed with Instagram, not nearly as many responses. But those that do, it's another way of connecting with them. And it's another way of getting their information. You know, these people are interested in your help. And so they may not commit this month, but when you follow up with them next month and the month after, you have the information, you know their goals, you know what they're trying to accomplish, and you can check back up with them on that. We've got less than a minute.
Yeah, I think it's going to end really soon, but
Okay.
Yeah, use the link in your bio all the time. It's just a good connector point, I would say. Thank you, guys. This was so fun.
Yes, this was. Thanks for hopping on, guys.
We'll see you soon.
Good night.